How's it going, everyone? This is Mitchell Mandragore, and welcome to another review of Pokemon Journeys. Today we're going to be covering episode 48. And, well, it was an episode to say the least. But before we get on to the review, if you're new to the channel and you like this type of content, be sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell, as I cover the Pokemon Journeys series on a weekly basis or whenever the episodes come out. Anyways, let's get on to that review, shall we? So in last week's episode, Go won a free trip to Unova, so that he could try out a bunch of delicacies in the Unova region. And he heads off to Unova along with Ash in this episode to do just that. Try out a bunch of food, and that's pretty much what Ash and Go do in this episode. Just try out a bunch of food. Meanwhile, we have Team Rocket over here, and they knew that Ash and Go were coming. And they're doing something similar to what they did in Sun and Moon, where in Sun and Moon they would sell Malasadas in their Malasada truck. And here, they're kind of doing the same thing, except this time they're selling Castelia cones. But they have a brilliant new scheme that they're going to try to get Pikachu with, which apparently they have this Pikachu that's called a very much like Pikachu or something like that. So pretty much a fake Pikachu. And it basically, the reason why they know it's a fake Pikachu is it says Hikachu instead of Pikachu. So basically they want to swap Pikachus, and that's their brilliant plan. And this fake Pikachu, it's funny because like it's pretty much a robot, but at the same time it acts like an actual Pikachu, which I thought was pretty interesting. But anyways, their goal is to steal Pikachu, and they're going to do just that, or at least try to in this episode. Anyways, Ash and Go approach the Castelia Cone truck, wanting some ice cream, and, you know, they get their ice cream, and then, I like how Lucario doesn't really want any ice cream, he just walks away, but Cinderace over here, whose personality has completely changed since it evolved from Reboot, it's excited for, some ice cream, and it tries to offer some to Lucario, and they get into a little bit of skirmish, and which is a recurring theme in this episode. It looks like the two are they seem to get along, but at times they tend to clash, and then this episode they clash quite a bit here, as you can see. But anyways, Team Rocket shenanigans happen. Team Rocket end up trying to capture Pikachu, and our boy Pikachu ends up noticing the fake Pikachu and starts playing with it, and gets to the point where, yeah, they can't really tell which Pikachu is which, because the fake Pikachu is supposed to say Hikachu, but for some reason it keeps saying Pikachu. It was something that Meowth couldn't perfect. But anyways, they manage to eventually catch Pikachu, or at least what they think is the real Pikachu, with this sticky substance that they get. And Cinderace and Lucario are over here, they're sulking, they're mad at each other. But Cinderace manages to notice what's going on, gets Lucario's attention. They try going after Team Rocket, who's trying to get away with Pikachu here, and they shoot that sticky substance over to Cinderace and Lucario, and it manages to tie the two together, which results in a lot of shenanigans happening. And by shenanigans, I mean like Looney Tune levels of shenanigans start happening, because with that sticky substance binding the two, yeah, they keep running, trying to get Pikachu in the beginning. And they keep running into poles, and since they're like in between the poles, in between them, it like causes them to basically launch backwards and launches them literally into the air multiple times. They manage to get Pikachu, and so Team Rocket starts pursuing Cinderace and Lucario, and they're literally flying throughout the city because they're just like being launched all over the place, because they just keep launching themselves, because the whole time Cinderace and Lucario are fighting. And they eventually hit Team Rocket, and they actually blast off with Team Rocket. And it's funny because the whole time Ash and Go are like, wow, where's Cinderace and Lucario? Oh, they must be trying out some food. They're totally, nothing out of the ordinary is happening. They're totally not trying to save Pikachu over here. I mean, we have Pikachu right here. So they're probably just trying out some food. Probably just doing that. Eventually, they end up in a random part of town in which Team Rocket and Cinderace and Lucario are not willing to give up. Despite the fact that they're bickering, Cinderace and Lucario do not want to give up on saving Pikachu. On the other hand, Team Rocket are not willing to give up on trying to steal Pikachu away. So, in order to fight off against Cinderace and Lucario, they call upon their wonderful Gotcha machine, which we all totally love, and they end up getting two Unova Pokemon, ironically, a Sawk and a Throh. Neat! Unfortunately for Cinderace and Lucario, that sticky substance ends up getting in the way, in which they try to fight off against Sawk and Throh, but because they're stuck together, they can't coordinate very effectively, and they end up getting hit, and looks like they're down for the count. However, Cinderace makes a realization and ends up taking Lucario and swinging him through the air with the sticky substance. and manages to take out Sokken's row, and eventually it breaks off the sticky substance, and they end up blasting off Team Rocket. However, it seems like Team Rocket may have gotten the last laugh, as Wobbuffet over here managed to catch Pikachu. But then they find out as they're blasting off, it's actually the fake Pikachu, as it starts saying Hikachu. So yeah, what an awful feeling for Team Rocket to be blasting off knowing that they seemingly won, but in the end, they failed. So Cinderace and Lucario head back to Ash and Go, which they're super full. Ash is super fat over here because he's eating like everything in sight apparently. But anyways, they're super exhausted and they're trying to explain to Ash and Go that yeah, Pikachu got stolen by Team Rocket. But then they realize that yeah, our boy Pikachu was never stolen in the first place. Which means that the entire time that they were chasing after Pikachu, they were just chasing after the fake Mon. So Ash and Go end up offering them food, and then Cinderace and Lucario continue the bicker, and that's pretty much where the episode comes to an end. Okay, so for what I liked in this episode, so I will admit I did like Lucario and Cinderace's chemistry in this episode. I think it worked pretty well, and it was kind of funny to see them bicker a lot in this episode, because, I mean, they just evolved recently, so you know, you get to see their new personalities a little bit more here, so that's kind of nice. And, I mean, there were some funny moments. I think it was kind of gaggy and kind of funny that they're just getting launched all over town, and they eventually blast off with Team Rocket. So that was kind of funny, I guess. And I thought it was a bit funny that Ash and Go this entire time didn't realize all this stuff was going on. They're just like, they're just off, you know, eating a bunch of food. You know, they're totally not just flying all over town getting launched left and right. Nah, they're just trying out some food. But if I'm being completely honest, guys, I felt like this episode was quite a chore to watch. Now don't get me wrong, there were definitely some enjoyable moments and some funny moments, but compared to last week's episode, I didn't find this episode to be nearly as enjoyable. In fact, some parts of the episode I felt dragged on and were kind of boring. Like the whole Cinderace and Lucario being launched all over town. Like, it was kind of funny at first, but after a while, it kind of got a little old, because they just kept launching all over town. And I was, like, getting to the point where I was like, alright, can we move on to something else? Because that was kind of what was going on for a good portion of the episode. And at the very end of the episode, it kind of felt like nothing was really accomplished, and it kind of felt like a traditional filler episode, which is kind of disappointing, considering last week's episode, led into this week's episode, so yeah, that's kind of disappointing in my opinion. Alrighty guys, that's pretty much all I got for this video. So overall, I felt like despite the episode having some enjoyable moments, overall this episode was pretty mediocre. So yeah, I'm sorry, that's just how I feel. Anyways, I'm gonna give this episode a 4 out of 10. So guys, in the comment section down below, let me know what you thought of the episode. Did you like it? Did you hate the episode? Post your thoughts in the comment section down below. Be sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell. I'll talk to you guys later. You all stay safe out there and have a good day or night wherever you're at. See ya.